Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners, Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, and I'm the chair of the board this year. I'd like to get started by asking Commissioner Gary Edwards to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with that in mind, I'll do some introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Labanita Bomar, the clerk of the board. To her right is Robin Campbell, the Assistant County Manager and Budget Officer. And to her right is Elizabeth Betchert, our Prosecuting Attorney. So with that in mind, we'll take a motion to approve today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017 agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, approved Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017 agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so that motion carries. And board meeting minutes for May 16th, 2017.
I move to approve the board meeting minutes from May 16, 2017.
Second.
Yep, it's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes for May 16, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and motion carries also. So the first thing we have on our agenda is a couple presentations and proclamations. And so I'm going to ask Pam Hartman to come forward and introduce a new employee having the Superior Court. How you doing, Pam? It's good to see you.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah, it is afternoon. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. So, good
Yeah.
morning, commissioners. So first I want to thank you guys so much for approving our new court commissioner position. I have to my right our new court commissioner, Nathan Corticray. Nathan Corticray began with us last week. He was sworn in as our new court commissioner. Unfortunately, none of our judges were able to join us this afternoon because they're in trial or
They're
in
busy.
hearings. But he is our new court commissioner. He's located mainly at our family and juvenile court. We'll be hearing cases mainly there in the morning, but we'll be at Superior Court in the afternoon hearing our preliminary dockets, which will allow us to expand our change of plea calendars and really hopefully alleviate some of our jail population at the ARC in the afternoon. So I'd like to introduce Nathan Corticray to you. He can answer any questions. I know you had a question about his
Yeah.
last name and his origin at the meeting. I was unable to answer for you last
Word
week.
gets out fast.
But he came from the AG's office. He practiced locally, family law, dependency cases, and criminal law locally. And we're really lucky to have him with us. He was also a pro tem for us in family and court.
Just real quick, 32 seconds or so, what a court commissioner is and does in the whole scheme of.
Yeah, a
courts.
court commissioner is an appointed judge. They're not elected like our judges are by the citizens of Thurston County. They can hear all types of cases. He is a constitutionally appointed commissioner. He can hear all types of cases except for jury trials. And we're really excited to have him on board. We're really lucky, and I'll give you Nate.
Yeah, let's see what he's got to say.
Good afternoon.
Hey, pull the
Good
mic up just a
afternoon.
tad. There you go.
Is that better?
Yep, can hear you loud and clear.
I want to thank you guys for approving the budget and allowing this position to be created.
You know our dirty secrets.
But I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have of me.
You
Last
first.
name.
Last name,
Yeah.
it's German.
German, okay.
German, yes.
Corticray?
Corticray, yes.
Corticray.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds like a good beer.
Yeah, I suppose the jail population will start dropping probably next week. Solve that problem for us.
Our intent right now is to actually start the increased change of pleas the week of June 9th.
Okay.
Okay.
And my question is, the proper way to address you, is it Commissioner, Judge, Your Honor, Sir? What?
Or quarter grade.
Commissioner or Your Honor would be.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How we do it in court, that would be fine.
When can I share a story?
Yeah.
When I was in England, I attended a proper red-robed trial. It was a murder trial. And when they say a red-robed, the judge is actually from the House of Lords. So I was summoned back to talk with him. And he had the white wig and the red robe. And so his assistant, when she'd walk me back, I asked, what do I call him? Your Honor, Judge, Sir? She said, you call him Your Lordship. And I thought she was kidding. But she wasn't kidding. It's your lordship. So would you be offended if,
Your Highness, whatever you want.
Just not late for dinner. Don't be late for dinner.
Exactly.
well, welcome aboard.
Appreciate it. Thank you
Nice
very
to have
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
A little bit more about you. Are you from Thurston County, another county? You
I'm
flying in
actually,
from somewhere?
I'm originally from Indiana.
Okay, good.
And
Never-
I moved out here after law school to Clark County initially, practiced a few years there, and I've been in Thurston County for almost a decade now. And my wife is also a local attorney as well with the
Oh,
Attorney
wow.
General's office,
Yeah.
so.
He's got one more thing to say. I got
When
one
you
more thing
talk
to
to your relatives at home, tell them it rains all the time.
say. Anything else? No. Okay, well, yeah, thank you so much. We'll try to remember Quay, if nothing else, to be super NK or something like that, and just kinda give you- yeah.
I've heard it all before, whatever
sure you
works for
have,
you. I
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Welcome aboard, and we look forward to working with you and doing the great things the county brings for the citizens here, so, yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you very
bet,
much.
Nathan.
Thank you for your time.
Take care.
Thank you.
All righty, that was fun. Public Works. People wondering why we're wearing orange today, because we are absolutely proud of our Public Works Department. It's here mighty and strong, and we have a proclamation to read today in honor of them. And I think Mr. Scott Lindblom is going to come forward or Carrie, and then we're going to read a proclamation, sure. And then we're going to take a photo.
Well, they've asked me to say, and thank you, Commissioners. I'm Kerry Hibden with Public Works, and I manage the Parks Division. And I'm honored to say a few words today to help bring recognition to National Public Works Week. And you can see the large group we have here of Public Works staff, sea of orange there. The theme of this year's National Recognition Week is Public Works Connects Us. And, you know, while putting together thoughts about Public Works, it really came to my attention. It's really tough in 3 to 5 minutes to capture Public Works because they really touch every corner of our community and all the residents and visitors within our region. Public Works connects us in many ways, but since I only have a few minutes, I'm really going to just focus on 3. Public Works connects us to the economy, they connect us to the environment, they connect us with each other. So talking about what that means, the economy, people use the infrastructure that Public Works provides and maintains to get to work, to get to their jobs. On the 1,035 miles of roadway that Public Works operates and maintains, 48 miles of trails, 109 bridges, allows for commerce to thrive in our region. Public Works is really, we're here to help people get where they need to go. So that's the economy. We talk about the environment. Public Works connects us with the environment. We protect and preserve the environment by filtering drinking water and treating wastewater. We protect the environment by proper stormwater management. We protect and preserve by using the latest and most effective management practices to ensure that we have a minimal impact on the environment. And finally, we really connect people, citizens and visitors with each other. People need to reach their families, services, schools, of course. The recent windstorm we see, and boy, Linda, I'm 3 behind, so we'll catch up here.
There you go.
That's the environment.
And a flash.
With the recent windstorm, I'm so excited about this one, everything else got
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah,
The-
on the highway.
With the recent windstorm we had, it really does just really bring home what Public Works does to keep people connected. And again, that's economy, environment, family, schools, all the things that they need to do, getting people where they need to be. And you can see in this slide, just all kinds of stuff happening out there. That's out off the Yelm Highway, but it's really just representative of the type of work that happens out there. So this commitment by Public Works is really a commitment and a call to service. And it's in place 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Crews work during the night to make sure that our community is safe by plowing snow, treating the icy roads, ensuring that people and communities stay connected. And you know, when I was going through a lot of the stats and the stuff with Public Works, trying to pick out some real key stuff, every division of Public Works has these real impressive statistics that really stand out. So I'm just going to share just a couple because I'm leaving out way more than I'm talking about, obviously. Yeah, a lot of good stats out there. But 132 tons of asphalt were used in 2016, just to patch potholes. So that's not the overlays, that's just potholes. 38,000 tons of asphalt were reclaimed and reused to be used on other projects. This alone saved taxpayers $192,000 in 2016. Public Works filtered 100 million gallons of water and treated 100 million gallons of wastewater for over 800 residents. 200,000 pounds of litter was recovered and removed from the community. Waste and Recovery Center, they received 183,000 tons of waste material and 30,000 tons of recyclables. It's a lot of stuff. Parks and Trails manages 2,645 acres of property, and we gave out 60,000 of the pooper scooper dog cleanup bags to help
There you
clean up
go.
after your pets.
That helps.
That's pretty darn impressive
You
to
bet.
me. You know, it's a big number. So, in closing, I would just like to say that Public Works staff really do represent a lot of hardworking and dedicated people who take pride in answering the call to service. We work hard to ensure that the services we provide are done so professionally, and that these services help to provide for a safer, healthier, and more economically vibrant community. And we want to just thank the Thurston County Commissioners for recognizing the importance of the services that Public Works provides. I'm really just proud to be a member of this team, a bunch of hardworking people that are there day in, day out. Anytime, any weather, they're out there serving the community. We're really proud of that.
Here, I hear you.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Commissioners.
I guess I would just like to thank you and all the folks here from Public Works for all the work that you do, and I would ask the viewing public to try and be as safety conscious as possible as you're doing that multitude of activities
Thank you
that
for
you
that, yeah.
talked about, because it's a hazardous job. A lot of people don't realize it, but that's why we're all decked out, trying to emphasize that safety is one of our key concerns. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners, appreciate it.
Carrie, we have one more comment.
It's for all of you. You don't have to come up. It's for
No,
all
go
of you.
ahead, sit down, sit down.
Question?
Before you started speaking, I wrote down just a couple bullets, like 3 or 4 bullets.
Sure.
And that I'm very appreciative for Public Works. Number one is the storm response. That's the most recent,
You bet.
because it was over the top.
You bet.
And I'm very proud of the work our Public Works did, all of you folks. Excuse me, but also you always care about and take care of the people of Thurston County. Even if they don't live here, they're traveling through, you're taking care of people, and I greatly appreciate that. And you are environmental. And I'm glad you touched on that. You are very environmental, to include the culverts and our fish
bet.
and such. And then you brought up the last part, and that you work in all weather, all kinds of weather.
You bet.
And when I'm driving around and I see your folks out there, and it's really icky,
Oh,
I just think, oh, thank God I don't have to do that anymore,
You bet.
you know? So,
Well, we try
very
to
proud
stay
of
as visible as possible, but even with that, within that, it's really goes unseen by a lot of folks. Because again, the middle of the night or early in the morning or all these times, the infrastructure has to keep working, and it is a delicate balance between the environment and getting some of the work that we need to get done out there. And we think we do that responsibly and professionally, and we're very proud of that.
Thank you, Carrie. And I have one question for Interim Director Scott Lindblom.
Thank you.
Is this new or come from some young man or woman? Is this vest new?
what does it fit?
No, it fits fine.
Those vests were brand new, just for you.
Brand new then. Well, thank you very much for that.
Oh,
There was a
thank you.
$20 bill in mine.
Oh, sure.
Check mine.
I'm
Oh,
glad,
it's yours. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Right.
I'm glad I got the other 20 myself.
Thank you, Scott.
I'd like to just make a comment that for those who are sitting in here and those who couldn't be in here from the Public Works, I am incredibly proud of you for the 2.5 years I've been here. I just cannot thank you enough for what you do. The leadership at the individual and collective level is just shows in volume as far as service, be it administratively or operationally, and listed all the roads, bridges, parks, solid waste, noxious weeds, and road signs that we do to just customer service, taking care of our people here locally. I travel around the state on many occasions and see some of the other counties, and they have pretty good public works, but I know we have the best, and I absolutely love being there for you as much as possible, and I think it's reciprocal in a lot of ways. We love each other and taking care of this county, and so thank you for what you do. So how about a photo?
When do I read?
Oh, sorry, let's do the proclamation first.
All right, proclamation, National Public Works Week. Whereas for over 50 years, the fourth week in May has been designated as National Public Works Week, and whereas public works, infrastructure, facilities, and services are of vital importance to the health, safety, and well-being of the citizens of Thurston County, and whereas such facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of the public works employees from all levels of government who design, build, operate, and maintain the transportation, water supply, sewage, refuse disposal systems, and facilities essential to serve the people of this county. And whereas it is in the public interest for all citizens of this county to gain knowledge of and to display a progressive interest in the public works needs and programs of their respective communities. Therefore, be it resolved, the Thurston County Board of Commissioners proclaim the week of May 21 through 27, 2017 as National Public Works Week, signed by your commissioners.
Ta-da. Now we can get.
Now you can clap. Yay.
Everybody.
Sir, you can keep the best and the $20.
Don't fall.
That's right, you're out there, Brian. That's right, you guys.
What are you doing? Okay.
That's a selfie?
2, 3. 1, 2. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Afterwards.
Okay.
Give it to the boss. All right. Fantastic. Did you get that? Okay, good. Don't touch it.
Unless you want it.
No. Okay. Now, that was the Public Works Department. So next, we have another department head, director, Shelley Slaughter from the Public Health and Social Services, and we're going to recognize the Better Hearing and Speech Month. Hi, Shelley.
Hi, good
There you
afternoon,
go.
Commissioners. So, on behalf of Thurston County Public Health and Social Services and the Board of Health, I'm honored to be here today to ask you to proclaim the month of May as Better Hearing and Speech Month. The American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association encourages local communities and public health organizations around the country to raise awareness of communication disorders, treatments, and research that can improve the lives of those with hearing loss, voice, speech, and language disorders. 15% of 15% of Americans, including thousands of adults and children right here in Thurston County, suffer from hearing loss. This year's theme is communication, the key to connection. We want all Thurston County residents who are impacted by hearing loss and communication disorders to know that you are not alone and that Thurston County is a community that fosters connections and inclusivity for all and is committed to preventing hearing loss and communication disorders.
Fantastic. Wow. So, any questions or comments? No? I'm going to do a proclamation, then I have a question.
Better Hearing and Speech Month. Whereas hearing loss can lead to feelings of isolation and a lack of connection with family, friends, and community, and whereas approximately 15% of American adults, or 37.5 million people, report some degree of hearing loss, and whereas by age 65, 1 in 3 people has hearing loss, and whereas roughly 2 to 3 of every 1,000 newborns in the United States have some level of hearing loss in one or both ears, and whereas approximately 12% of all children ages 6 to 19 have noise-induced hearing loss, and whereas over 900 Thurston County children are served by local schools for a communication, hearing, or vision disability, and whereas assistive devices such as hearing aids can significantly improve quality of life, yet only about 1 in 4 of those who could benefit from hearing aids has ever used them, and whereas approximately 46 million Americans experience some form of communication disorder, and whereas communication disorders can compromise physical and emotional health and affect the social, educational, vocational, and recreational aspects of life, and whereas this year's Better Hearing and Speech Month theme is Communication, the Key to Connection. And Thurston Thrives has developed a community resilience strategy that aims to reduce isolation among county residents so as to improve community health. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2017 as Better Hearing and Speech Month in Thurston County and urges all residents to respond to hearing loss and communication disorders by reaching out to people of all ages living with these health issues, working together to accommodate these widespread conditions, and making the prevention of hearing loss a priority in the community. Adopted this 23rd day of May 2017, signed by your Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Thank you. Now you clap.
I feel pretty fortunate.
Yeah, I can't wait for my wife to see this on TV and get after me.
Question for the new program, Child and Family Wellness and/or through Thurston Thrives, is that something that would fall under the new program or kind of work through Thurston Thrives? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, through the community resilience strategy, we are committed to reducing isolation and encouraging more connections. And also, early screening is really important, especially of newborns. So that's a foundational public health service that we are committed to working with our medical providers to make sure that newborns get their hearing checked and young children very early on, because that is the key to preventing longer-term communication disorders. Seniors are also adversely affected, and we want to make sure that seniors have access to healthcare and the assisted devices to facilitate communication. So that is a priority of ours at Public Health and Social Services.
Wow. All righty. Do you want a photo or no? Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for what you do and all the public health and social service.
And there's the original.
Oh, yeah. I give it to you.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
One other thing I want to say is we'll post this on our website so all of our citizens that are impacted by this can see that you made this proclamation today. So I'm accepting this on their behalf.
You bet. Outstanding.
you.
Thank you so much. All righty. Before we go further, I have an announcement to make, and I'll say it a couple of times as we go through here. On the 30th of May, we will not have a Board of County Commissioner meeting because of the Memorial Holiday. It's kind of our policy. The next day after our federal holiday, we forego that meeting. So 6th June will be the next time we meet here. But continuing on with the agenda, the next we have a resolution designating Thurston County as a Purple Heart County. And I think Scott Davis from the county engineer is going to talk about it a bit, and then we're going to celebrate it.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm hold here to present a resolution designating Thurston County as a Purple Heart County. This designation will honor the contributions and sacrifices of many of our men and women who've served in the armed forces over the years. The Purple Heart is one of the oldest U.S. military decorations and is presented to those members of the armed forces who are wounded in combat or killed in action. Citizens of our county have received this award, and this resolution seeks to recognize and honor their contributions to our country. And to support the resolution, we do plan, and to show our appreciation to those who have sacrificed for our country, we do plan on installing signs at the entrances to Thurston County. They'll be done in 2 stages. One will be, first is just the county road, where the county roads intersect with other county roads. So that'll be Old Pacific Highway, Old Highway 99, which connects into Lewis County, Michigan Hill Road, which connects into Lewis County, Tono Road, again to Lewis County, Independence Road as well into Lewis County. And Old Pacific Highway connects to the north into Pierce County. We're also working with the State Department of Transportation to also have those signs posted on the state routes and interstate as well. But that'll take a little bit longer for us to accomplish. And I guess I think the sign's right in front of me, I
It is.
think.
We're gonna get a
Do I
photo
need to
with it in a
hold it
second.
up or something, or?
We'll get a photo in a second.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, resolution number 15471. A resolution of the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners designating Thurston County a Purple Heart County, and in doing so honor all those who have sacrificed for their country. Whereas Thurston County has a long history of men and women, veterans all, who have paid the highest price for freedom by leaving their families, friends, and communities and placing themselves in harm's way to help secure liberty for all of our citizens. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of our men and women who serve and have served in the armed forces is the rallying cry that makes this country the greatest on earth. And whereas the Purple Heart Medal is the oldest U.S. military decoration dating back to 1782, when George Washington created the medal as the badge of military merit. And whereas the Purple Heart Medal is presented to those members of the armed services who are wounded in combat or killed in action. And whereas since the commencement of World War II, the Purple Heart Medal has been presented to more than 500,000 members of the armed services who have been killed in action, and presented to almost 1 million men and women wounded in combat. And whereas many of those killed in action or wounded in combat were or are residents of Thurston County who served their country with honor and distinction, and whereas Thurston County has many active duty military residents and veterans in our population, including several Purple Heart recipients and residents who were killed in action. And whereas Thurston County reveres and appreciates the sacrifices that have been made and continue to be made to defend our freedoms, and we believe it is important to acknowledge the courage of our men and women who serve and have served in the armed forces and honor them. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners declares Thurston County a Purple Heart County from this day forward. Adopted May 23rd, 2017, signed by your county commissioners.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments?
Are we gonna get Jim?
Yeah, we're gonna get
Jim's coming up in a minute.
Oh, you wanted to speak now? Yeah, come on
Oh,
up.
well, I
Yeah,
didn't know what you had.
yeah, come on up now, sir, yeah. I was gonna recognize him.
Good afternoon.
Hi, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jim Sims. I am the past national commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, a veteran service organization of those who have Purple Hearts. I am a local guy. I graduated from St. Martin's. When I retired from the Marine Corps, I was director of a small state agency for 12 years. I wanted to move back home. This is a great honor. It's an honor to all veterans and their families, not just those of us who didn't duck or didn't run fast enough. And I think that it's important for the viewing audience to know the personal commitment of our commissioners to veterans and their families. Commissioner Hutchins' son has been presented a Purple Heart. Commissioner Blake, when his schedule is able to participate as part of the Veterans Legislative Coalition. And the ramrod who made this possible is Gary Edwards and Vicki, who made this possible. I wish to share with you, particularly with Memorial Day next week, a verse that's inscribed on a brass plate at the British fortress of Gibraltar. God and the soldier all men adore in time of battle, but not before. When the battle is won and all things righted, God is forgotten and the old soldier slighted. Today, the soldier, the Marine, the airman, the sailor, the Coast Guardsman, and his family and her family are not slighted. We are very grateful. Thank you, sirs. And I have some Purple Heart pins. For those members of the audience, please grab one on your way up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Gary has some words for you.
Jim, thank you very much for your service. And I would like to point out that I like to recognize all the veterans that have served, regardless of what capacity they served in, because we would not be here having a free and open meeting today without the sacrifices of veterans in the past. So thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you.
No, don't leave yet.
Don't leave yet.
Don't leave yet.
He's trying to leave. Come on
I
back.
held my mud when I was reading this until you mentioned my son. And he was injured in Iraq in July of 2011. And upon his return for Christmas, he gifted me and my wife, this ornament. I'm sure you recognize it.
Yes.
And it just reduced us both to tears, because it's beautiful, and it adorns the Christmas tree every year. And we were very fortunate and blessed to be able to witness his award ceremony, Purple Heart Award ceremony, because oftentimes it's posthumously. And so his wife, and they are both residents of Thurston County. They live in Lacey. We all went to JBLM, and we're very grateful to see that. But it's very touching, very heartwarming. So thank you, and for all of our men and women as well that have served. I appreciate that. And I'm so proud this is a Thurston County, Purple Heart County.
First county in the state,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
and we really appreciate the honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So-
Thank you, Jim.
First county in the state, I'd like to thank you very much for plowing through this and making this happen, and salute you for doing it, and you and Vicky.
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
was
make
just
this,
gonna say Vicky.
Yeah, sure. Without the two of you standing in fast and making that happen is really reason why we're here today in terms of recognizing Thurston County.
Well,
and
Jim
Purple
brought
Heart
it to our attention.
Sure,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's
very
another
much.
clap now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we want to get a photo with it?
Yeah, Jim.
So I have a request
And a
of
photo.
the audience, for those who are veterans, to come forward. And if you're not a veteran, a wife or a former wife of a veteran, or a family member of a veteran, or you know a veteran, or if you just want to be part of the photo, come on up.
All right, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not used to telling colonels what to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
All righty. So the next item we have on the agenda is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And as we move into that section, I'll just kind of go over some of the rules while Labadita's policing up the podium. We used to have a green, orange, or blue color light that went down to from up to 3 minutes and let you know verbally that you were done. Now we have the wall-mounted clock, and it counts down from 3 minutes to 0 minutes. And at the end, you'll hear like this little microwave sound goes, and that's your time to kind of bring your thoughts to a closure. If you're mid-thought on something, I'll let you finish and then ask you to finalize it. But in meantime, 3 minutes per person. So I have 4 sheets here today, and I'm just going to go in the rank that people signed up, first come, first serve. And then when you come up to the podium, please just kind of give your name and then generally where you're from in the county. And the first person I have is Mr. Gordon Darcy. Yeah, hi, sir. How you doing there? Good. Come on up.
Microphones are never
Yeah,
high enough.
always a little different for you, huh? You got the floor. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, my name's Gordon Darby. I'm a Summit
Darby.
Lake resident in Thurston County, and I'm here representing all of the residents there, but also we've formed a committee with the issues we're having out there, and it's called the Summit Lake Water Quality Commission. I've been familiar with the lake for over 50 years, and I've been a resident there for 25 years. My family, wife's family, were there for over 50. So we do have an urgent problem as we speak, and the lake is closed. Drinking water is unavailable, and the lake is the source of probably 97% of the homes there or more. And I want to thank the county for stepping up, coming out and testing, and actually being the communications conduit to basically all of the county residents to let them know, plus us, that we had a situation out there with a toxin forming on the lake. We had a meeting a couple Saturdays ago. I'd like to also thank personally Bud and John for being at that meeting. We appreciate it. It was the most highly attended meeting in Summit Lake's history. We had about 280 people there. And typically we have, when we have our community meetings, we might have 27. So that tells you the seriousness of the nature and the appreciation of the citizens. So as I mentioned, we formed a committee of the residents, and there's 20 plus or minus people on that committee. We've developed 4 subcommittees of that, really looking at primarily drinking water for the household, but also the quality of the lake itself. We need to understand the process of resolving this immediate issue and also proactive process of dealing with the future. Because we don't think, and I think your Department of Health doesn't think this is the last time we're going to see this. And again, most of us drink the water, so it's a pretty big issue. We hope that you'll assign some staff or portions of staff to help us with that. Your staff has been very gracious so far, and appreciate that. And I think you've probably been orchestrated as far as the direction on that. And I have requested a specific meeting with you 3 gentlemen, and to talk specifically about it and find out what that process is. I will tell you that we have a committed group of people out there that have come together on other issues in the past and have done a decent job of getting things done out there with the Department of Fisheries and that sort of thing. And we really want to team with the county, which is who we think we need to be teaming with, to again get this resolved and really handle the future.
You bet.
That is a microwave sound.
But you're not the popcorn.
Is my coffee done? Or?
Yeah, you can finish your thoughts if you had another thought there. So, yeah.
Basically, that was it. And again, I talked to Mr. Hutchins before the meeting, and he said, you guys have received my request,
Yeah, we have.
and you're working on that as far as when we can do it. And I just think that timing is critical, that we get in front of whoever we need to get in front of to deal with it.
Yeah. Any comments, questions? Okay.
Well, I just wanted to let them know that, because I was the junior commissioner, I got voted to go to another function, and, just so you know, I'm with you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Okay, so there's some others that hit no on the little button right here, but I'll come back and ask you if you changed your mind. So next I have, is it Patrick Dickinson? Is there a Patrick Dickinson out there? Oh, Patricia, I'm so sorry. I didn't see the. Patricia. Yeah, I see the A now. It looked like a K. Sorry, my bad. I apologize. That's okay. You bet. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, pull the mic down just a tad. There you go. You have the floor. Go ahead.
I think that'll work.
There you go.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Pat Dickinson, and I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Thurston County. And I come to you with an issue, and it's brief. You'll be glad to know.
That's okay.
In regard to land use, the League of Women Voters of Washington and Thurston County believes all known factors should be considered in making land use decisions, and first consideration should be given to the effect on natural elements, uniqueness, and scarcity, as well as the irreversibility of the decisions should be considered. Therefore, we strongly support the U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife's recommendation to permanently preserve the remaining 5% of the prairie habitat in the Habitat Conservation Plan in order to protect threatened and endangered species in the designated area. And this is a petition, and I've given Robin copies, one for each of you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for your words.
No, you're more than welcome.
You bet.
A copy of the original? Yeah.
Okay. Next person I have on the list is Ms. Phyllis Farrell. Hello, Phyllis. How you doing there? It's good to see you again.
Good afternoon. Greetings, Commissioners. Thank you for the
Phyllis,
opportunity.
can you do me a small favor and bring them out down, a little bit more?
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, greetings, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I'm Phyllis Farrell. I live in Sunwood Lakes in unincorporated Thurston County. And as a member of a citizens advisory group, local, that is focused on salmon recovery, I'm here to speak to you today regarding water availability issues. Since the Hearst Supreme Court decision last fall, which requires counties to ascertain water is available for new exempt well permits, considering the cumulative effects and without jeopardizing senior water rights and in-stream flows. For our salmon, many counties have altered their permitting process to comply with decisions. We look to you to protect our water resources and our groundwater. While I understand there are legislative efforts to modify the Hearst decision, I hope the current policy of continuing to issue will not put the county at risk if there are problems associated with permits that may not comply with Hearst requirements. After all, the Hearst decision appears to reflect just common sense. No permits unless water is available without jeopardizing neighbors or endangered salmon. Violations which would negatively affect permit holders or neighbors should not be risked. And so the permitting procedures which protect our senior water right owners and salmon recovery efforts should be prioritized. And thank you for all that you do, your service.
Yeah, thank you for those excellent words, Sir Phyllis.
Is there a chance we can get a copy of that?
Phyllis,
Would you
yeah,
share
would
it?
you mind giving it to Robin? Okay. Fair deal.
Thank you.
But thank you so much, Phyllis. The next person I have is Esther Cronenberg. Hi, Esther. It's good to see you again. Yeah. There you go. And tell us where you're from in this county.
I'm from Cooper Point Road.
Okay, good.
Hi. I don't know if you had a chance to attend the Prairie Appreciation Day on May 13th. Did you get there? Yeah. And I had never been to Glacial Heritage, and it's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, I've been
And
before.
how lucky we are to have such a beautiful and unique landscape in Thurston County. The prairie is not only a unique ecological habitat, it's also a cultural heritage site managed by Native Americans for centuries through the use of controlled burning. As a unique ecosystem, and in our role as stewards of the natural environment, it behooves us to ensure its future survival. The prairie lands that welcomed the first pioneers to this area are now at risk. If we want to preserve the landscape that greeted our forefathers for future generations, it's imperative the Commission act now to complete a final habitat conservation plan. I've heard the debate around the HCP framed as a battle between pocket golfers and people, or between the Department of Fish and Wildlife against the Department of Agriculture. And I think that's kind of a red herring. This framework focuses on only one feature of a complete plan in order to advance a narrow position where individual property rights trump all other legitimate claims. I invite the Commission to another viewpoint, one that recognizes that what we are trying to preserve is a unique ecosystem, recognized as such worldwide. The gopher plays a critical part in this ecosystem, perhaps even the natural forces in its original formation, but it's hardly the only species at risk. There are 7 others, and a finalized HCP will preserve them as well. Failing to do so will jeopardize something that can never be replaced. It has been said, not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. What value do we place on our lands? I urge the commissioners to take a fair and balanced view of this issue, one that acknowledges and respects the uncounted and priceless benefits that conservation lands have for all of us. In support of this viewpoint, I'd like to read a petition to the commission signed by many people who will support a cost-sharing plan for conservation of the prairie. We, the undersigned residents of Thurston County, recognizing the unique character of the prairie habitat, that only 5% of the original prairie remains, that several endangered or threatened species need protection under federal law, and that a habitat conservation plan will provide for local control of decisions and ease the permitting process. Urge the commissioners to finalize the habitat conservation plan proposed by county staff with guidance from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that will protect our last prairie habitat for the enjoyment of our citizens and future generations, and to formulate an equitable cost-sharing plan in a timely manner that assures the protection of the prairie ecosystem while providing reasonable accommodations for individual property owners.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words in coming today. Sure. The next person I have on my list is Lee Reimer. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you for allowing us to speak today regarding many issues in Thurston County. Today I wanted to speak about the Solid Waste Advisory Committee here in Thurston County. As you may know, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee is the committee that deals with our garbage here in Thurston County. So who's paying for this? We are. The taxpayers are paying for this. And a man was put forth for the citizen representative on this committee. His name is Gary Schoenbacher. And Gary owned the farm in South County that was sold to Pacific Disposal. Pacific Disposal is a corporation, a waste corporation, that gets rid of our garbage, and it is owned by Waste Connections, another corporation. And this is a $20 million a year contract here in Thurston County. So who's paying for it? We are. We, the taxpayers. $20 million a year. So the current county commissioners put this Gary Schallenbacher, it was supposed to be a citizen representative, but Gary had the farm. The farm that was sold to Waste Disposal, the farm that was sold to Waste Connections. So we feel that essentially this is a conflict of interest, and we hope to disqualify Gary Schallenbacher from this position. Many of us think that this committee, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, is very powerful. We want to be represented, and at this point, we do not think a man who sold and made money off of one of these many corporations that seem to want to run Thurston County is an appropriate person to be our citizen representative. Not only was he the citizen representative, but also the agricultural representative. So it's a 2-in-1 issue, and it's not, it's a conflict of interest, and we ask the county commissioners to re-examine this. I also wanted to mention the issue of Summit Lake. Essentially, the current county commissioners rescinded the $10 a year fee. The $10 a year fee was to keep track of the leaking septic tanks all across Thurston County. And so they recently did this. They recently rescinded the $10 a year fee. Now we're having trouble keeping track of Thurston County leaking septic tanks. And what do we have? We have Summit Lake that has high nitrogen levels from leaking septic tanks, and then for some reason the algal blooms have now turned toxic. What does that mean? That means the residents cannot drink the water, they cannot wash in the water, they cannot let their pets anywhere around the water. I hold the Thurston County Commissioners responsible for this problem in Summit Lake, because we need to keep track of leaking septic tanks. We need this $10 a year fee. You would think $10 a year is not that much, but I hope this will be re-examined. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. Okay. On my last list, I have Miss Peggy Burton.
Good afternoon, Peggy Bruton. I live at 1607 East Bay Drive in Olympia, and I am a property owner in Thurston County, in rural, unincorporated Thurston County. I share some of the previous speakers' concerns about clean water, and have for many years, and that's why my husband and I purchased 50 acres of conservation land down in the Delphi Valley. But anyway, I was going to say something too about, I was reminded when I read about Summit Lake, Lisa, I wondered, I know that the state advises that algal blooms of that kind can be caused by, among other things, leaking septics. And I too find that, I too was disturbed by the rescinding of that $10 fee. I think it's a really, really good idea to know just what's happening with our many septics. We have a really large number of septics in Thurston County, and if we don't know what's going on, I mean, if we don't study it, if we don't look and we don't study it, we don't know. Maybe that's not the cause of what's going on in Summit Lake. I don't know, but it could be. And the more we know, the better off we are. And $10, that's a couple of cappuccinos perhaps, or maybe a third of a tank of gasoline or something like that. $10 a year, I don't see how that could bother anybody. And so I too would join Lisa, the previous speaker, in urging you to reconsider that. And to just as much as we can look after our clean water on all fronts. If we lose that, we lose everything. So thank you very much. Thanks for all your work.
You bet. Thank you, Peggy. Good to see you again. Okay, with that in mind, I'd like to make a quick comment to that. We, the county commissioners, received a briefing this morning from every authority figure out there in relationship to Summit Lake, and the cause of it is not been truly determined. Septic could lead to it, so could fertilizers, so could other fecal matter, but none of those have been determined because we are vigorously trying to find out the actual reason why so that we can get ahead of this. It's just one of the things Mother Nature's doing right now. That's all I can tell you, and that's got us kind of perplexed, but that's it. The next item I have is the county manager's update. And Robin Campbell's going to describe that.
So I have one announcement to make this afternoon. The Thurston County Historic Commission will be holding a strategic planning meeting on June 14th from 5:30 to 8:30 at the historic previous Thurston County Courthouse. That's located at 1110 Capitol Way South in room 135. That's on June 14th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And that's all I have for you this afternoon.
Great. Okay. So it moves us into item number 3, which is the consent items, and I'll ask if there's a motion for the consent items.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent items A through I.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent items A through I. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so the motion carries. Which takes us immediately to number 4, which is Commissioner County Manager's items. And I'll ask the two commissioners if they have something they would like to talk about that they've seen while out and about the last week, or something on their mind now. Do you have anything?
No.
Go ahead.
Last week, I attended the Tenino Chamber of Commerce meeting at the Sandstone Cafe, which is the epicenter of Tenino, as a guest speaker, and represented the county to them at that meeting. Attended the STEADY meeting, which is the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative meeting in Rainier at Sonia's Cafe, along with Commissioner Edwards. Attended last week the Thurston County Sheriff's Office Awards Ceremony, where numerous deputies were promoted and awarded service awards and meritus awards, life-saving awards, and retirement awards. And I attended this last Saturday evening, the roof auction, dinner and auction, which roof stands for the Rochester Organization of Families. They provide services and resources to our children and youth in the South County, in Rochester area. And yesterday, was granted a 2-hour tour by the Housing Authority of several houses and facilities they have built for our homeless. And it was a huge, I thought this is going to be boring, and I actually told them that. But it was an eye-opener, and it was heartwarming. It really was heartwarming. I did not know that we have a school district bus that goes up into Capitol Forest to pick up children that live in cars, RVs, tents, whatever, and brings them to school. And now these, as a result of the Housing Authority, many of these children and these families are going to have homes. And it's exceptionally touching. I was so very proud and thrilled to have that 2-hour tour yesterday throughout the county. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, sure. A couple things on my calendar. I think all three of us listened to a very good overview of how Lake St. Clair has risen to the levels it has. And just in a few seconds I have here to describe it, if you just see the lake like this, the watershed kind of comes under it and builds another belt, and so it makes it very hard for the actual lake to release some of its water. And so with that in mind, it pushes back up. That's a huge complex problem with Mother Nature and watching out for the citizens around and constituents around the lake and just trying to approach it in a very judicious way. But that was a very good briefing in terms of what's going on there. I met with the local constituents on for our behavioral health organization. We have a policy that has harm reduction, but we learned a lot more as far as reaching out to the general public and understanding just how harm reduction could be done much better as far as policy and procedures. And what that means is someone who's chemically dependent and say police officers pulled them over and has released them, but yet they still need to go to the triage center. You might not go through the, say, traditional standard routine of where's your ID card and what's your insurance card like. You kind of take a different approach so that person can trust the system and put themselves into the system instead of kind of going forward and wanting them to do it on their own self-actualization. Believe it or not, as it has a huge payoff, because then when they do it on their own, they go into the system and stay a lot longer, and that's what we're looking for is the treatment. So there's a lot of techniques and sort of tricks of the trade as far as getting chemically dependent people into the system, but we took a lot of notes, and we're going to incorporate them into the behavioral health organization, the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization. Another thing that we did exciting was we went over, all three of us and a whole host of county elected officials went over to the governor's mansion, the mansion, but the governor's office. And we signed, the governor signed a bill, House Bill 1344. That was exciting legislation that all three of us and many others put a lot of effort into it. And what it is the ability to raise the cap, if you will, from about a 1.3 to a 1.80, if I have that right, in order to facilitate a larger conversation about how to finance the courthouse. Now, I'm not saying the courthouse is going to happen, but we have to get the money straight. This is one piece of one tool in the toolbox to be able to talk about, and so we're going to reformulate the finance committee and bring them back into the room and let them look at it and take another look at it before we move forward, and I'll come back and brief you on it where we're at on that. With that in mind, that's all I have. Any other items you'd like to mention? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
All righty. With that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
No, there's,
Oh, sorry, County Manager. I'm so
fine.
sorry. I was ready to go. My bad.
All right, this is your calendar for the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Starting tomorrow is going to be a very busy day. At 9 a.m., you're holding a work session on internal service rates as they relate to the budget. At 10 o'clock, you'll hear about the Henderson Inlet water quality. At 2 o'clock, the PSE Green Direct program presentation will be given to the board, and at 2:30, you have a pre-public hearing briefing on the Development Code Amendment A13 Residential Sensitive Resource 2-4 dwelling units per acre zoning district impervious surface standards.
I'm glad you got it out.
It'll take the whole work session time just to say the title. At 3 o'clock, there is a work session on Hicks Lake, Pattison Lake, the pipeline replacement feasibility study. which is an interlocal agreement with the city of Lacey. And then at 3:30, a presentation on the Habitat Conservation Plan, Prairie Habitat Conservation Bank, which is also known as Matsama Meadows. All of that tomorrow, and all in this room. On Thursday, you begin your morning at 7 a.m. At the Public Works Employee Appreciation Breakfast. That will be in the Tilly Building C. And then at 9 o'clock, you will be reviewing the second quarter budget amendments for 2017 and 18. And at 10 o'clock, commissioners check-in. Then on Friday, the board will be attending the Voluntary Stewardship Program Work Plan Approval Celebration from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Medicine Creek Winery here in Olympia. Then next Monday, May 29th, the courthouse is closed in observance of Memorial Day. And on Tuesday, May 30th, as you've stated, Commissioner, there is no board meeting. However, the board will have a 9 a.m. agenda setting, and at 10 o'clock go into a planning session that is scheduled for the majority of the day. And that's your upcoming schedule.
And then we'll have our next Board of County Commissioners on 6th of June.
Correct.
Okay, at 2 o'clock.
I wasn't on the list to speak, but if there's still an opportunity, I'd like to.
Yeah, sure, come on. Sorry I missed you. You need the microphone?
No, it's all right, I'll get it.
Oh, he's got it. All right.
All right. Sorry for the wait.
No problem. Take it down.
Thank
Just
you.
state your name and where you're from in the county.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. My name is Greg Schoenbachler, and I'm a Thurston County resident. And I wasn't planning on speaking, so I apologize for not signing up initially.
Okay.
However, there we go. The lady that was talking about the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, she had a lot of inaccurate information that I thought you guys needed to hear from the horse's mouth. And since the horse is here, I thought I'd let you know. Now, confusing Greg with Gary is not a bad thing necessarily, but my actual name is Greg Schoenbachler, and I am an owner of Silver Springs Cattle Ranch, also known as RH Resources, which owns a large property in South Thurston County that's an active and working farm and cattle ranch that's family-owned and been family-owned for over 50 years. And I also developed, in 2007, Silver Springs Organics, which is Thurston County's only and largest, of course it's the only and largest, organic waste recycling facility. And so we take a large volume of organic waste from the county that the county produces in surrounding areas, recycle it, and save that material from going into the landfill. So there's a lot of good things going on down there. So I developed that facility, and I did sell it to Waste Connections, but where she's inaccurate there is that I still own the land, and the land is in a family company. And so the conflict of interest really is not there. I'm a person who wears many hats. I wear a solid waste hat, I wear an agricultural hat, I actually wear a therapy hat, and an engineering company hat. So I do a lot of different things, but I just hope that when you guys consider me for the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, that you guys understand the facts, and if you have any questions about anything like that comes up, you feel free to direct them towards me personally.
You bet.
Thank you, Commissioner.
No, thank you for your words. All righty, with that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of May 23rd, 2017.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and second to adjourn the Board of County Commissioner for May 23rd, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
you.